Today I want to introduce to you the M5 topic in the single series in August 24th. Well, I started using this M5 cane at the end of last month. Recently, the wind of this model of walking stick is also relatively large. After use, I think it is also more suitable for some daily trivial matters. There are also some records of some lists. Therefore, I also brought this handbook with me on my trip to Xinjiang this time. Well, then some of the products in it have also been used by me for more than a month. Then it was finally determined, after using it for this month, I found that it is the inner page. It's these inner pages of writing you still buy ready-made is the fastest and best. Then what I mainly do in this topic is some functional ones. For example, the privacy page, style page. There are also some small labels like this. The main purpose, it is how to decorate this handbook to look better. And it has some functionality while looking good. Then we won't talk much. Let's start today's introduction. The first is on the inner page. On the inner page are four. The first one is right-angled. Such an ordinary inner page. It's more suitable for cutting some ready-made things. For example, milk tea bags. Or you usually see some patterns of flowers you like in magazines. You can cut out sticky notes, and then you cut it and you just put it in your pocket. If you cut two of this one, you can match its pros and cons together. Well, you can also use it to DIY this separator. And as I've shown here, match it with the next product. I made a separator. I think the effect is pretty good as well. Well, what about the second one? Is a lace. It is also a very basic, ordinary model. Well, its function is the same as the one just introduced. If you cut two slices, it can also implement a sticker. You can also use it to make your own separator pages. It's all possible. This one is simpler. What about the third item? Is a trifold of such an inner page form. The first thing I thought about was when traveling or visiting some markets. You might get brochures and flyers and stuff. Might consider saying cut it straight off. Fold it into your own pocket. It's a pity. During my trip, Humph, I didn't meet you, so I haven't made one yet. Using the renderings here, it is equipped with two lace strips. You can reinforce this whole. It can also play a role in contrasting colors. One is a blank one. On it is a word that says, "This happy planner." You can take a look at the demonstration in the video. And then, in addition, this inner page, well, here's how it folds. So just fold it. It will become a three-fold page. The writing space of the three folds is still relatively large. I might do something with it later. For example, simple planning or something. If the paper you are using is thicker, you can also use this small bookmark that comes with it. One is in the shape of a cat's head. One is in the shape of a peach heart. Perform one on it. What is this called? Just a button. You can just buckle it up. Then the professions would come together. If one doesn't work, just one up and one down. Well, here's a simple demonstration for you. Of course, you can also use a small button in other places, like a 7, a 6, or a small page can be used. Well, there are also two. That's it. It's in the shape of little tabs. One is peach heart. One is a cat's head. You can cut two of this separately. This is that you have to paste it in subsequent use. For example, in the corner of this page, there is a peach heart. You can write what's on this page. Then if it is to stick this cat head, you can put some expressions on it. For example, if you record a mood journey this month, you can use this kitten sticky note to make a classification. The fourth one I made is 1.5 like this. It is such an inner page of M5.5. Wow, M5s are very small. Why would I want to make an inside page that's even narrower than that? Like a book. Just because I was thinking about seeing if I simply record something, he doesn't really need such a large space. For example, I have a weekly plan that I match. Then I put its bookmark like half on the front of it. Then it could be a keyword index for my entire week. Well, here are three examples. Just one is my milk tea record. One is my physical condition record. There is also a record of me chasing dramas. You don't have to write a lot. Maybe you only need to print one seal in each box. Write down 1 or 2 keywords. That would mean saying what is your key message for this week? For example, last week I was drinking medicine 2 days ago, and then in the middle, just drink some juice. Well, simple. You can record one of your eating status. Then you put it in front of the weekly plan. You can see at a glance what your situation is like this week. And then the normal plan page at the back, you can write something else or extended content. There are some episodes, for example, which episode has a great impact on you, then you can write directly on the blank page, or excerpts, including reading. I just use it as a key page. What about the second part? It is such a feature of the grid page. The grid page is the first one. It's a hollowed out big tag. It is equipped with some accessories. It's the kind that's displayed on the desktop. Well, I think it's the film you printed out or your favorite illustration, then put it on this page as a grid page in your ledger. It's still nice, and these little accessories in there. You can make some yourself, message board or stickers or collage, and put it in the ledger as a backup. It's also a good choice. Let me show you. What I did this time was one of my favorite illustrators, Spanish plug, a work by an artist. I thought of printing it out as a style page for my handbook. I feel happy every time I open it and see it. Then I think this is the biggest function of the style page, which is to make your handbook look good. Let your mood become beautiful. So on the grid page, I also came up with a form of a film like this. Here it is, not like the hollow tag in front. After cutting, it is formed at one time. Yes, just fold it in half. This one requires you to cut to make a post by yourself. As for this one, there are 2 up and down in total. You can put 2 different photos or use one overall photo. And then I made them a little tag here. It says you can write the date and you stick it on top. Well, this one was originally meant to be a photo of life. But for a show, I still put illustrations here. Well, that's the overall effect. This partition page of the 3rd paragraph is also a more common one. It is to divide the inner pages in the handbook into several categories like this. Well, here is because M5 is relatively small, so I just made 3 tablets. Well, some of the entries above are also more popular. Then there are the blank sticks. There is also this to-do list or memo. Then there are smiley faces and pencil shapes. Well, I'm going to introduce it here. It's this one. Well, the top and bottom little ears are after you cut one each. The 2 of them can have a sticker match. In this way, the style page you make has patterns on the front and rear. It will also look better. Well, what about this piece in the middle? You just have to cut it twice. Then it can also make a sticker after 2 times. In fact, it was originally the split page. I even started out with a flower shape. Then I took 5, but the flower one cannot be completely. I think it would look better if you wanted to make it with a pattern on both front and back. So I passed this flower. I did a more conventional one, and this is what I'll show you. I'll put it in my laptop. Such an effect. The following is the special section of this privacy page. The first one is this peach heart theme. Then my page has a width of 67 after it is folded in half. That is to say, it is suitable for the inner page of. But say you keep it in your handbook as a privacy page. If you also use 67 for this inner page inside, it will get stuck. The experience will be very bad. So I suggest that you use the width of 62 for the paper inside. It will fit perfectly. What about what's in the privacy page? You can also design it according to your own needs. For this privacy page of the second item, what I did is a theme of a small hollow window greeted by a kitten. Well, this one's main gameplay is on the right side of the ear. Well, each of my privacy pages has made a reinforcement strip in this place. Just remember to use this reinforcement strip. Otherwise, opening and closing this side for a long time may cause the edge to be turned over. I'm going to show you here the invisible page with the trifold, how to use it here, this little ear. And I put a little tag on it that looks like this. You can write what is on this invisible page. For example, if you write some data, we can look at body data, then you write the physical data here. Now, this has another function as well. That's right, it can be combined with some other single pages or some small cards you like. You can stick your favorite card directly on this ear, then it can be turned into a separate extended little inner page. Do a fold, and then this layer in the middle, it opens unrestricted. Well, then this little ear mainly has two functions. Of course, the inner page inside also needs 62 millimeters. Then I have made an accessory for this little ear separately. What about this one here? I have matched this fire paint file bag from issue 24. You can also make it into an extra small storage in this handbook. What I have here is a fire paint coin. You can also put some other things. Well, I think these little ears are more practical. So what's next? Just some other accessories and general purpose accessories. The first is this storage envelope. This envelope is in the form of a file bag. This is accompanied by such a decoration of a peach heart and small flowers. You can put some accompanying stickers in the envelope or some receipt. You can just stuff it in. And this is a theme I worked on recently. I think it's very versatile. Any style can hold up. If you don't like the two file circles matched this time, then you can take a look at the file circle of the 26th issue. It also has some other patterns for you to choose from. They can be used together. And here's one of my favorites from this issue. This is the pen insert, and it's made of a combination of paper and this cross-stitch thread. So first there's this yellow and green pack. That is, you have to cut off 2 slices, do a sticker on it. Then the pen is inserted into the gray part. It is recommended to use about 250 grams of paper because the gray one I use now is 180 grams. I've rolled a lot of 180 grams. I found that texture, it's easy to wrinkle. It's just not as smooth as using 250 grams. So let me show you this. This bead is not called pearl bead glitter paper, is it? It's 250 grams. Then it is rolled up as a whole and not so wrinkled. The texture will also be better, including this black cardboard too. It is also 250 grams. Well, you can also cut some of this paper with patterns, then go to DIY yourself a pen insert exclusive to you. I think this one is particularly playable. Well, I like this single item very much. What about this pen in this M5 size? I am based on the width of this little fat pen. There should be no fatter pen than this one. If the handbook you bought has this buckle, then you just have to consider the size of the hole. This one of mine plus this pen insert, it's horizontal and horizontal. And the width is about 85, 86 like this. Then you have to consider whether you can put it in your buckled ledger. This is the one I bought. It also happened to fit right in. Well, if the handbook you bought does not have such a large deduction, then don't worry at all. It's next to this pen. Leak a little bit. This length is just right. What about the pen insert? I also want to design another more fun one for you. Next is this label. This label is the dotted version and the starting version. It says the same thing, just to say, well, they are a dotted version, an open hole version, because I've been loving embroidery thread lately. So all the effects I use myself are this open hole version. This will give this book a sense of, it feels like handmade, huh? Hey. And I loved it. I've been enjoying this feeling lately. Then how to sew on this little label. I will also give a tutorial later. You can choose for yourself. Just choose the dotted version or the open hole version. The dotted version is directly pasted on it. You can also stick it on any part. For example, on this head of the envelope or combined with the previous ordinary inner page. You can go to DIY to make such a separator by yourself. Next is the button of this rabbit bear peach heart. After you make this button every day, you can think of it as a decoration. Go and decorate this little book. And then I combined this with an embroidery thread. Then I created a new way for it to play. You have nothing to do with embroidery thread. You can make this form without this embroidery thread. After the sticker, we make it feel like a little clip. It can clamp such an inner page. Well, it won't fall off either. It's still relatively firm, and you can make it into a movable little bookmark like this. But I haven't perfected the subject yet. So let's put this single item on it first. So this film, after you stack it together, it can be stapled with this ledger. In that case, This film can be rotated like this to make a look. Specifically, it is the same as the ticket stub of our previous movie. Well, then it can be completely stored in our file box. Because I finished this first half summary at that time, I thought there was something wrong with it. It's all in the form of photos. In fact, I still really want to record some film form aggressive. Therefore, this product was developed. Well, you can make the film when you buy it back and put it in this file box.